Hi everyone! Today in this video I'm going to talk more in depth about the difference between climbing roses and shrub roses. In my garden I have clear climbers which can never be trained as shrubs, and I have shrub roses which can never be trained as climbers. But I also have some roses which can be trained the way I want them to be. I also will tell you roses of David Austin which do have this dual habit of wanting to climb and wanting to be a shrub. Here I have this wonderful, beautiful rose, another shrub of David Austin, the generous gardener, and look at this magnificent shrub. It's almost ready to finish blossoming and it is a clear climber. It will never be trained to be a shrub rose. It will never listen to my knife. For example, come look here, I will show you. Now, when you look at these beautiful, strong stems which are coming up from the base of the rose, they are strong, they're vigorous, and if for whatever reason I decide to cut this stem because I want it to be a shrub, what will happen, the rose will create another strong shoot which will come just under the cut and will go all the way up, stronger than ever, because this rose wants to climb, wants to go high, wants to create new shoots. And usually the feature of the climbing rose is that it goes high, never creating any roses along the stem, and only at the top it will create a rose. So how do we fight it? How do we fight that? Not fight, but how do we correct that feature of this climbing rose, or any climbing rose? We bend the stem. And what happens when we bend the stem, look at this. When we bend the stem, new shoots are coming up, and every shoot creates a rose. But here, because this pergola is so big, I had to train this rose going up. And when you look here, you will see that this shoot never created any rose on the way up. Only started when I bent it to go into this pergola. So this is the main feature of a strong climbing rose. You can never cut it and expect it to become a shrub. Now follow me, there is another little rose which we just planted this spring. It's a little baby rose so far, but it's a cute one. It's Vanessa Bell. And look here. I never thought that it will flower, but it obviously is very happy in our garden. It has quite a few roses, almost 10 different roses ready to bloom. Just look at these little guys coming up. Pay attention to these soft, gentle stems of this rose. It will reach the height probably 3 to 4 feet. That's what this rose is stated in David Austin catalog. And that's it. It will never shoot stronger shoots to go higher because it can never be a climber. The nature of this rose is to be a shrub. But there is another beauty which you saw already from my previous videos, Lady of Shalott. It has different stems. It creates different stems. It creates shrub stems, meaning short stems which are creating flowers at the tops. And then it has different stems. It has different stems coming up, and they want to be climber stems. Look at this guy. I showed you in my previous video, but I will show you again. Look the difference between this guy and these guys. These guys are ready to stop blossoming. They're tired looking. They're ready for a break. But this guy is taking a show. He's ready to go tall and high, and he clearly is enjoying his height. It will go tall, will create a rose maybe at the top, and then it will fall over if I would do nothing about it. But I will cut it down because I don't want him to be so tall. I don't want this rose to take over and just be a straggly big thing. So what I will do, I will trim it right here, close it, nobody will see the trim, and this rose will get a hint that she is staying a shrub. So this rose, Lady of Shalott, can be trained as a climber and as a shrub because it has these stems which are strong enough to be trained on the support. Now another thing which I wanted to talk today is Oh yes, I didn't mention my David Austin has 13 roses together, which can be either climbers or shrubs, and they are right here. I don't want you to rely on my English to tell you all the names. So this is for your reference. This is 2021 June, and these are the roses which can be trained either way. One more thing to keep in mind: when you're ready to buy those roses, do choose the one you are going to train it, the shape you're going to train it into. When you buy Lady of Shalott as a climber, put it into the checkout as a climber, because they trim it that way. When the rose arrives to your door, it's already pre-trimmed to become a climber. This way it would be easier for you to train that rose. Now, one more thing I wanted to talk to you about is about the color of Lady of Shalott rose. When I was ready to buy this rose on the internet, I was totally perplexed about the color. Some people were showing it as very orangey rose. Other people were showing it as very crimson rose. Others were blush pink or apricot color. So I was thinking, what in the world is going on? So what rose is this? Are people using some sort of filters on their cameras, and this rose is just so different for everybody? No, this is how this rose is blossoming. This is a transition of the blossoms of this rose. So when it just starts to push the blooms at the beginning of June, zone 7 here, it comes out very clearly a strong orangey color. And then new blooms are pushing through, and the color starts to change. More pink joins in, more darker pink colors are joining in. A rose still keeps its yellow center, as you will see from here. Rose is still keeping its yellow center, but the petals on the side totally changed their orangey colors. They became very light peach. And this rose just started blooming, but here I have the roses which are ready to fall off, and look just at this color. It's a totally different color from orange color of the beginning blooms. So keep in mind, this is how this rose transitions in its blooms. The biggest transition of color I saw in all my roses in the garden is this Lady of Shalott rose, starting orange, finishing this light pink. So when you look at my YouTube, you will see two different videos about Lady of Shalott rose, and one is clearly orange rose and another is clearly crimson rose. I'm going to post those two videos together for you to see. That is the same rose. It's just filmed in different blooming time. So here we have this fading beauty, Lady of Shalott rose, and as you can see, the blossoms are almost done. So this is the time to give this rose a nice haircut, feed it, and prepare it for a quiet time of the summer, for 2, 3, 4 weeks of a quiet time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do subscribe if you like what I'm creating for you. Happy gardening, and I will see you next time.